Welcome, Nicky.
Hi.
Well, good to have you here.
Yeah, good to be here.
No, you're nervous, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I know. So for the listeners, let's get this out of the way. I've had a lot of so Nicky is my partner in crime, and as you heard, co-founder of Girls with Hammers, and we. I think a lot of people. I've had a lot of people after podcasts say to me, "Oh, I really enjoyed listening to so and so." And they resonate with them because that whatever that person has shared on their episode is something that the listener is actually working on in their life. And then I say, well, this is what you want to do. You should be inspired by this person. And they always say, I am, but that person is special. I'm not them. I'm just me. And that person is doing something extraordinary. And I particularly wanted to get you on, Nicky, because you think the same. You think that you're not special. And I think that often we get a guest on and they come across as confident and come across as they have succeeded and done their thing and got it off the bench. But in actual fact, underneath, they don't feel special. They go through a lot of challenges, but other people perceive them to be really have their shit together, but that's not actually the case. And it was, and the other reason I wanted to get you on is because a lot of people have said to me, when are you getting Nicky on? She's got a blog up and running and she's doing great things. And every time I've asked you to come on, you've said, I'm not coming on because there's nothing special about me and nobody wants to hear what I've got to say. And so, I wanted to kick it in at the other end of that and get you on because I want people to see that, everybody feels the same and that we all think we're nothing special and we all sort of shaking in our boots underneath and then we do it. And, you're the epitome of that. And I wanted to get you on so you could talk about that end of it so that people who are feeling like that, can see that, well, Nicky seems to have her shit together, but she's struggling underneath to be confident. And the other part of that is that your blog is about helping people not feel alone and feel that other people are struggling just like them. So you're the perfect person to have on this podcast, even though you don't think it's so. How are you feeling about all that?
Yeah, okay. I do get why you keep asking me on, and I know I've resisted over and over again, and I'm still resisting, but I'm pushing past my fear and doing it anyway. And I'm happy to, share my experiences and share the struggles that I've had believing in myself as well and continue to have all the time. So if that helps one person, then great.
Yeah. And I think it will help one person at least. So thank you for finally agreeing, because it's been an absolute struggle, convincing you that you are actually worthy of a podcast interview. So here we are. So let's talk about your blog. And as I mentioned earlier, you did have to push through a hell of a lot of self-doubt. And, I saw it. I watched you day in, day out saying, I'd love to write a blog. And I kept saying, let's just, come on, write the blog. And you're like, I don't believe in myself. And you weren't actually saying, I have self-doubt, I have imposter syndrome. But the words you were saying, the narratives were insinuating that quite heavily, and I could see a lot of conflict in you that you really wanted to write, but the self-doubt and imposter syndrome was holding you back. So when you were feeling that self-doubt and imposter syndrome, what sort of things were you telling yourself, like in your own mind?
Oh, lots of things. I mean, being around me all the time, what I'm like. I'm a ridiculous overthinker. I overthink everything all the time, continually. And the things that were playing on my mind all the time was, well, who would want to read what I've got to write? Why would people want to read what I've got to write? There's so many good writers out there. There's so many good bloggers. I've never done anything like that. Like, why? What's special about me? And even to the point of thinking that, you know, I'd build myself up and feel okay about it and think, oh, yeah, I could put this out. This sounds okay. And then think, oh, no, it's not good enough. I can't. What if so-and-so reads it and they think it's silly and they laugh and talk about me? Or, you know, all those things were going through my mind continually and still do, but I've gotten better over time at pushing them back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw all that too, and this thing about what if so and so reads it? You know, I remember you actually, you know, dropping some names, saying, "But what if this one reads it?" And I was like, "Who cares if they read it? Like they'll think it's great." And oh no, they'll think this and that. But at the end of the day, you know, you've now published many blogs, and you haven't had one person come back to you saying, "Oh, that was silly. Who are you to write that?" You know, that hasn't happened. But so by constantly telling yourself, you know, all of this negative narrative on and on and on and on, was there an underlying feeling of disappointment, you know, or kind of like that you'd missed opportunities simply because this self-talk was holding you back?
Yeah, there was. Especially, you know, I'm 50 now and I still can't believe that I'm 50. It's just gone by so quickly. But I wonder what would have happened if I had have started it earlier and believed in myself earlier and stopped all that talk that was going through my head, or tried to push that back earlier and done something for me rather than reacting to the self-talk that was continually playing through my mind. I do wonder that, but I can't change it. I can write about it now, and I can give advice to other people about, you know, taking that step earlier and not listening to the voices in your head that are telling you you're not good enough, or that no one wants to hear what you've got to say, or, you know, all those things that go through your head, especially for people like me who are naturally quieter people. I'm not loud. I'm not super confident. I'm not, you know, I have to push to do it. And I think if I can do that, anyone can do that. And they should. Life goes by so fast. People should do what they want to do and do it now.
Yeah. I think that, and you, a couple of things there. You are one of the most introverted people I've ever met. You're also one of the sweetest and kindest people I've ever met. And that is, while that's a good thing, it's also to your detriment, because you are one person that always puts everybody else first. And as long as everyone else's needs are satisfied, you know, yours are constantly being pushed back. And I think there's a lot of people out there who do that. You know, well, you know, someone else wants to make a dream. Who am I to sort of push ahead of them? And I think it's good when we can finally work out that it's not a competition. Just because so-and-so wants to do something, we can do something alongside them. You know, for example, with me, you know, you're my greatest supporter and you're always pushing my career along. But at the same time, I would never let you miss out on your career simultaneously, you know, sitting next to me, you know, because I don't believe that we're on this earth to work behind one other person. We're here to, and in actual fact, relationships and friendships and working relationships and everything else, all those things improve if we're doing our thing while supporting somebody else. Do you know?
Yes. Yeah.
We're bringing out the best in each other when you do that kind of stuff. So, and I think it's interesting that you say you're 50, and I wish I had have done it earlier. And I say the same. I didn't write my first book, as you know, until I was 50. And when I do talks, I often say the same thing, is that, you know, I only wish I knew I could have done so much more when I was younger. And it's not like a burning regret that I'll regret forever, as you say, the same thing. But when you get to, I think something happens when you hit your 50s, it's kind of like, screw this. I don't care as much anymore. Like I think you sort of start to see your mortality a little bit and think, God, I better, you know, I don't know how long I've got. I need to do something. But if only we knew when we were younger that we actually could push past it.
Oh, exactly. I think one of the blogs I wrote when I was 49 still, was about things that I would tell my younger self. And it was all of those things. It was to, you know, to put yourself first, to back yourself, to stop, you know, the self-doubt. And that was probably one of the blogs I got, you know, the most comments about. There's a few in there, but that one was really popular, which tells me that there's a lot of people out there feeling the same way, that they wish they had have known what they know now when they were younger and done things differently.
I think that that's something that everybody suffers from, isn't it? That if only I knew, you know, if only I knew. But I guess we can't beat ourselves up on that either. You know, we just have to say, well, now I do know, you know, or now I see that there's some possibility that I can start. So get started. And I'm going to come back to the bit about you, you know, helping people not to feel alone, because, you know, that's important. But before we get to that, what was it that made you finally open that Word doc, put it on the website and go hit publish? Like, what was the catalyst for you just saying, stuff it, I'm going to do it, I'm going in, that's it?
That, Karen Vaughan, was you.
Okay.
I think, no, truly it was. I think, you know, I'm probably luckier than most people to have you there every day. And I see you, you know, you helping people to get their projects off the ground, and you helping people to believe in themselves and to take that first step and to live a life that they love. I see you take people through that process, through the workshops you do and the mentoring. So I get the benefit of that as well, I guess. And it was that pushed me to hit publish that first time. And I still remember hitting publish that first time and then running away from the computer, shutting it down, running away and hiding and covering my face and, oh my God, what I've done. But I'm so glad that I did. So that was you helping me to believe that I could.
Yeah.
That I had, I don't know what the word is, but that I had enough inside of me to make that happen. Yeah.
That's an interesting thing, and thank you for the lovely compliments. But and yeah, I don't know whether it's a good thing that you get me every day. Some people might think, holy shit,
it's questionable some days.
Hey, you poor bugger, how do you do it? But it's interesting you say that, you know, that I helped you to believe that you had that inside of you, and I think that that's something that I see with every single person I work with is, and something that I never stop believing in, is that everybody's already got it in them, you know, and it's kind of like they're waiting for somebody else to give them permission. And I don't like to see it like that, because I don't like to be, you know, thinking that I'm giving people permission. What I like to think I'm doing is people can believe that if they want, but I like to think that I'm helping people to give themselves permission, you know, to say, hey, I'm enough, I'm okay, you know, and I do have the answers in me. And we, you know, when you're writing personal blogs about your own experience, nobody else in the world has actually got your experience. So there's nobody else in the world that can say, hey, you can't write about that. That's shit, because they're not living your life, and you're the expert of your life. So, and when you did hit that publish and you ran away thinking that people are going to judge it and criticize, I do remember you came back and looked at the comments, and the comments were bursting with love and support, and wow, you made me feel fantastic. I feel like I'm not alone. Thank you for sharing this. I mean, how did that make you feel when you saw all of those wonderful comments and positive support?
I was really surprised at first, because I thought, I guess my mind was telling me one of two things: that no one would read it, they'd just think it was, you know, not even worth reading, or people would read it and laugh, or people would read it and think, who does she think she is to write this? You know, she's not a writer. So it was really nice to read all the supportive comments, and especially nice to read that what I'd written had resonated with people. So it gave me back that validation that people were feeling the same way, that there were people out there who needed to read that or needed to hear something within that article. And it felt great. It felt, it made taking that step of courage, I guess, worth it. And it pushed me on to keep writing more.
Yeah. And you've done that, and you had a bit of a hiatus at the moment, but we'll talk about that. But you've done, I don't know how many there are, that you've been going for well over a year, and there was one a week, so it's you're almost cracking at one a week, and we're just getting some more other guest writers in at the moment that we still haven't put up, because between you and I, that we've got a bit of a busy house. However, you're also the I do want to talk more about the blog in a minute, but you're also the co-founder of Girls with Hammers with myself. And, that came about, I remember, being at the International Women's Day event and holding up this card, "I will launch a purposeful female-focused initiative." Got down off the stage and thought, "Oh shit, now I've got to do it." And then I came home and said to you, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe what I did, and now I've got to do it." And several months before that, we were parked out of a workwear shop, and I was looking at flannelette shirts, and you got back in the car, and I said to you, "I'm going to start something called Girls with Hammers, and to teach high school kids, girls, not to sexualize themselves and to believe that they can be whatever they are." And nothing happened from it. But then when I came home that day, you said to me, "Well, I think you better start Girls with Hammers." And I said, "I'm not doing it unless you join me." And you're like, I remember you saying, "But I've got nothing to offer. Why would people want me in it?" And when I see our conferences, and how successful they are, yes, I might be the captain of the ship up there on the stage being the show pony, but in actual fact, you're the backbone of the conference. You're the one that keeps it running smoothly, and helps every little last tiny minute detail tick along, and the day unfolds perfectly, and it's because of you. And so we did our first conference in 2018, and I know that you were absolutely pooping your pants going into that conference day, because you still had that imposter syndrome about, "Well, I've never done this before. What if it fails? I don't think I'm good enough to be in such a space of hosting something to inspire so many women." How did you feel after that day or during that first conference a few years ago?
Fantastic. I loved it. I loved every second of it. The buzz, the people, the women there enjoying themselves, the feeling in the room was incredible. And I guess that is what spurred me on to believe that, okay, I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. And normally I'm not great with big gatherings of people. Being an introverted person, I sort of much prefer to just hide away like a little hermit. But I loved it. I loved it, and I've loved everyone since, and I really look forward to them. So yeah, I don't know. I love doing that. And I think, and this is something that I wrote about in one of my blogs as well. If you are, you're at a big event or something, if you've got a job to do, if you've got something to focus on, this is the reason I'm here. I'm here to help these people have the best day that they possibly can. Then you focus on that, and the focus is taken away from yourself and that self-doubt that, I don't know how I'm going to, go and talk to that group. They all look so cliquey, or, all that stuff that goes through my mind anyway. It doesn't on those days, because I'm focused on the job, and I'm focused on why we're doing what we're doing. So it's been great, and it's been great for my confidence as well.
Yeah, I bet. And when I work with people, one of the things that stops people is self-doubt. That's one of the 5 big things that stops people. And I always talk to them about, well, think about something that you've achieved in the past, and how did you feel before it? And so for you, before the conference, you were like, I don't know if we can do this. I've never done this before. Oh my God, who am I to do this? And then during it, you start looking at it thinking, oh, wow, I am doing this. I can do this. And then after, so there's before, during, and after. And afterwards, you're like, man, I did it. I achieved it. And wouldn't you agree that that's such a great measure for when you're coming into something new and having self-doubt, to look back at a past achievement and say, I really didn't think I could do that, but I did, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, completely. It's really important to look back at that, because you've got to remember what you achieved, what you thought you could never do. You did, and you did it really well. And even if you didn't do it well, at least you tried. You tried, and you can try again.
Yeah. That's another thing too, isn't it? That we don't always have to succeed, like valiantly. The fact that we even try is
it's huge.
Massive is the fact that we push through and had to go and just had to push through the courage. So when would you say, now that let's say 5 years ago, would you have ever said, oh, I'm going to host conferences?
No, that's a hard no. No.
And what about writing blogs? Would you have said no?
No.
So you were just going to be a hermit writer that never wrote?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And how painful? How painful would that have been on your deathbed, let's say, and you look back and said, I always wanted to write?
Oh, it would have been horrible. I always would have wondered. And I don't want that, and I don't wish that upon anybody. And I loved reading that, the Bonnie Ware. Is it Bonnie Ware? The 10 Regrets of the Dying. Bronnie Ware.
Yeah.
The Regrets of the Dying. And I mean, everybody should read that. It's really impactful, and it really shows the top regrets that people have when they're on their deathbed, wishing that they had done things differently. So I think anything we can do, it's well worth pushing past that fear and just giving it a go. So you can say, I tried, I gave it a go, I gave it my all.
Which you are doing, and I love. And part of your blogs is, or part of it's your why, it's your whole why is, helping people to feel that they're not alone. I mean, I know from being around you day after day, that's what you live for. You are so devoted to helping people not feel alone. And I think because for you, it's been the crippling, the paralyzing feelings of, no one else feels like me. I'm the shyest person on earth. I can't do this. And what if someone says something? And, the fact that you've sort of pushed past that and you've recognized that, wait a minute, there are other people out there who feel this. And I don't want people to feel that anymore. I want to do my bit. And sometimes you've said to me, but maybe only 50 people are reading my blog, and maybe only 2 people are, it's helping them. But then we've talked about that, and it's the agreement that even if you change one person's life, your life on this planet has been successful, that you've helped somebody else. But I personally think you're helping a hell of a lot more than just 1 or 2 people, because I read the comments and people, you make people feel seen. You make people feel like somebody understands them. And I believe that you strongly underestimate that gift that you bring to the world. I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try really hard, and you know how much I struggle over every single blog, trying to not to overshare too much of me, but to focus on things that I've been through that might help other people, or make them feel okay. It's the main intention is that I want people to feel okay about themselves. I want, especially like you said, people who feel a bit different, or are shy or quieter, or don't feel like they fit anywhere. I think they do. There's a lot of us out there like that. And even people who I've been surprised by some of the comments, people who I'd always thought were super confident and, had it all together, they have the same doubts and fears. And it's really opened my eyes as well. And I hope people are reading those comments as well and realising that we're all the same. We're all humans. We just, present differently to the world, I guess, but underneath it all, we're all the same.
Yeah. And I think we all have imposter syndrome and we all have self-doubt. And the only ones who don't have imposter syndrome are true imposters. But I think it's, yeah. And I like that the fact that you're saying that we're all okay. And I think that if everybody believes that they are okay exactly how they are, our lights come on. And we all, I imagine the globe and all these lights coming on and the globe starting to sparkle, with everybody sort of stepping into themselves, saying, I've got a place here. I have got a place here. The world's not made just for confident people. We need every type of people putting their piece in the puzzle to make the perfect world. And I love that you're bringing that to the surface and you're highlighting that. When you, to help people feel that they're not alone, that requires you, well, you don't have to, but you have been. And I think it's why it's successful, why your blogs are successful, is that there's almost a requirement for you to share vulnerably, to sort of lay your heart and soul out on the table and say, this is how I feel. And it is very vulnerable to admit that you're feeling a lack of confidence, sort of to admit that you're feeling self-doubt, because you're sort of opening yourself up to people taking advantage of that, or kind of like stabbing at your chinks in your armor, but you do that. And that's why people connect, because they can feel that it's honest and it's open and it's vulnerable and it relates to them. So when you do that, do you ever worry about people judging you? Do you ever think, oh my God, people are going to think I'm weak. People are going to think bad things of me?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes more than others, but I've learned to push past that and to just, the self-doubt is always there. It's always there. And the voices in my head that I'm not good enough, why do I think I can do this? It's always there. But something that you always say to me is, it's courage. Even if you don't feel confident, 5 seconds of courage, just do it, or, just take that first step. And that really helps me to push past all those words that are sort of whirling around in my head and the doubts.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's you said 5 seconds of courage, and I think that's even better. I usually say 20 seconds of courage. I give people a little bit of leeway, but I think that courage is such a critical thing. And we always say, when I'm confident. News flash, you're never going to be confident. You can't wait for confidence to happen. You have to actually take action to build successes so that then you feel confident. And that's where the courage comes into that. And I think that, now that you've shared and you've had the courage and everything else, it hasn't resulted in any bad things. It's only built more confidence, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been great. There's been no bad things at all. It's helped to build my self-esteem, I guess, my confidence in my own abilities. It's shown me that it doesn't take much to affect other people. It doesn't take, it might just be a few little words that people read and think, oh, wow, I feel that way too. And then they feel a little bit better because they don't feel so alone, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting. You say it doesn't take much to impact others, and it really, really doesn't. And there's an underlying, feeling out there that people say, oh, I can't I can't do that. I'm like, I've got nothing to give. I'm not impactful. And, I'm always saying to people, every single thing we do impacts somebody. And it doesn't have to be big. It can, if we smile at people, we're impacting them. We're changing their day. And I've had people have said to me down track as an adult, when you saved my life when we were in our 20s. And I'm like, why? I don't remember doing that, because I'm imagining a big heroic act, diving into a river and saving. I don't remember that. And they say, I was having a really bad day and you actually stopped and smiled and talked to me, and that changed everything for me. And I think that when you hear stuff like that, you realize the act of kindness and the act of just seeing people. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be the savior. You just have to see people and be kind to people, and it changes the world for people. So anyone thinking that they need to be doing big heroic acts is not true. It's not. So you've been doing this, I can't remember, it's been probably 2 years since the blog's been going. I don't know, I'd have to go back and have a look. But your commitment was, I'm going to do this every single week, and I'm doing it by hook or by crook. And everyone sort of gets like that when they're kicking off something. I'm going to do it. In the last couple of months, things haven't gone so well. It's dropped off, and for both of us, I haven't done any blogs on my website, and you haven't put any up on Girls with Hammers. And there's that feeling of beating yourself up. That I should be doing this, and people expect this, and I need to keep up, and I need to keep showing up. And I know you were experiencing that, as I have been, that self-beating up, I've got to do it. And I know you and I had a conversation a few weeks ago and said, we have to stop being so hard on ourselves, because we've also got to stay upright. We've also got a life to live, and we've also got to manage our lives. But how do you feel about that?
Yeah, pretty much what you said. I was beating myself up ridiculously, saying, "Oh, you can't even manage to write one a week. What's going on? You're not a writer. You don't, real writers can just, churn it out and keep going." And so I was, as you know, really hard on myself. But then I've realized, I think through talking with you, we've talked about it, and it's okay to take a break. It's okay to live your life and live in the moment and do the things that you have to do until you're ready to do that thing again. And I know I will. I still write journals and things, and eventually I'll share some of that. And I will. I know that I'll write more blogs, and I know that you will as well. But you've got to live your life, and you've got to cut yourself some slack. Everybody deserves that, and sometimes your focus is taken away on other things in your life, and that's okay. It's all part of the experience of living. And life is such a web of different experiences that I think living through those just gives you more to write about later on, and then to reflect on and to talk to people about.
And some people may see that as a failure, that if I start something and then I have to stop for a bit, I'm a failure. But it's not a failure. Sometimes there's always twists and turns, and I think we need to, as you said, cut ourselves some slack and be prepared to just sort of weave in and out as we need to. And sometimes there's highs and sometimes there's lows. And you and I, we've had those damn floods, and we've got trees over fences and trees down and fences down, and we've a kid with a broken ankle and God knows what. And there's been so many things. And even after the conference, so many things we wanted to do, to thank people and what have you, and put the photos up and all, even that's all, dropped the ball at the moment because of things. And I know you and I have been beating ourselves up really badly. We're not keeping up, but it was kind of freeing when we both sat down and said, we can't be everything to everybody. We can't.
I think it opens up opportunities for other things as well. So we've had some really beautiful guest bloggers write blogs for Girls with Hammers, and I'd love to keep, you know, we both would love to keep doing that, getting other people to feel okay about sharing their story or sharing something, you know, with the Girls with Hammers community. So there's things, I guess, that come along that might not have if we hadn't have decided to take a bit of a break.
Yeah. And we haven't got some of those blogs up yet. People have sent them in and we still haven't found the time to upload them, but they are coming. And, you know, if anyone's listening to this and does want to write a guest blog for Girls with Hammers, you know, we would like that, and it's got to be relevant, and we're not going to have spammy, you know, people spamming their stuff on there. But if there's something that they feel they can offer, a vulnerable story about themselves, you know, that might help other people feel less alone, because that's the theme. You know, our theme for Girls with Hammers is to build stronger women and to connect, you know, help people feel connected. So we're definitely, you know, open to doing that. Now, in an ideal world, would you be writing for a living?
In an ideal world, yes, I would. Yes.
You say ideal like it can never happen.
Never too late. It is never too late.
No, it's never too late, and that is on the books, and you know, in the wish list, and hopefully that'll happen. And what about a book? Is there a book on the cards?
Possibly. I think it is something that I've thought about, and again, it's probably that next level of imposter syndrome and self-doubt that comes in. You know, I tell myself the blogs are one thing, that's okay, but a book, you can't write a book. Like, who's going to read a book that you've written? What have you got to put in a book? So it's all those things that are whirling around in my head again. But yeah, maybe it just will take a few more shots of courage.
Yep. And who are you to write a book? You live with someone who's written 2 books. So I think anybody can write a book, you know, like I think that, but at the same time, I know what the book that you keep tinkering at, and, you know, then keep saying again, you know, I don't want this person or that person to read it. And what if this person reads it and gets offended and gets upset, and you know, it's about actually writing in a way that's sharing your experience without actually condemning other people, which is what you're doing, because there is no hard feelings. It's just you know, what you want to write about is something that you lived through. And I don't think that'll be your only book, because I think you have a lot to share, and you have a lot of vulnerability to put out there to help others feel less alone. And I think that there's not enough people doing that. So I think there's going to be lots of books in you. Once you start, it's going to be like a floodgate. You're going to be like, yeah, I can do it. And they'll be out. But certainly when you do put out that book that you are slowly chipping away at, about something that you've lived through, you know, regarding mental health and the impact that the person caring for that person has to live through. There are going to be a lot of carers out there, and I don't mean paid carers, just people supporting others with very solid mental health issues. And I think that the person caring for them gets lost in the mix, you know, and does feel isolated and does feel alone. And, you know, I know that that's something that you're wanting to write a book about. And I do see you constantly hitting that imposter syndrome. You know, who am I? I'm not an expert at this, but in fact you are, because you've lived through it, you know, for many years. It wasn't just a 2-month thing. You lived through it through many years, and pretended to the world that everything was okay while you suffered in silence. And I absolutely know, I was going to say I think, but I absolutely know there'll be a lot of other people out there going through that, and your book would be extraordinarily supportive and refreshing. So it is definitely needed, but it's just a matter of you pushing past that, all that stuff, and getting it done. But you've, as I've said to you a million times, you've got so much to offer the world, and your compassion and kindness and sweetness is, and I don't mean sweetness in a oh, she's so sweet. I don't mean like that, but in a sweet, soft, gentle, caring, compassionate way that you are. And every single person I have ever met who knows you says, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Every single person says that because you are so kind and sweet and loving and caring and just want the best for everyone. And I know you underestimate that, but I think, you put that out in your writing and you put that out in a book, and it's got to be successful. Has to be, because it's great intent.
And that's the thing. I'm my own worst enemy, and I think just about everybody is. I've just got to get past that. And I guess focusing on the reason why I want to write that particular book is the thing that keeps me going. And I'll go back and write a little bit more. And then, those self-doubt words will come back into my head, and I'll think, oh, no, I can't do that. And I'll leave it. But then I'll come back later. And it is the number one thing that keeps me going is wanting to change or wanting to help other people so they don't feel the same way that I did for a lot of years, and they see a way out, or they see that other people have been through the same thing. It's not just them feeling that way. Other people have and are experiencing it every day. And I struggle as well with not wanting to tell somebody else's story because their story is not mine to tell. So I'm wanting to, like you said, really write it from my side, from how it felt to me, without without talking badly. I don't know what the word is, but without talking badly about the other person. I want it to be from my experience, and I want it to be drawn from helping other people.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense at all.
It does. No, it makes perfect sense. And nobody wants to read a book anyway where you're publicly shaming and, putting down another person. Nobody wants that. People, you've got that unique, that beautiful way of, I want people not to feel alone. So you want to resonate with carers. You want to resonate with people who are supporting, so that they feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel. There actually is a way out, and there is hope at the end. So, well, for most people, I'm not going to say for everybody because everyone's got different situations, but, sometimes I think people feel trapped in those situations and feel like there is no way to better my life,
Absolutely. Absolutely. The feeling of being trapped is massive and probably bigger than most people know.
Yeah. And so a lot of people don't know that about you, and now they've just heard a little bit more about you and you're thinking, oh my God, she's so sweet, she's so beautiful. And I'll be thinking more, but I've said it 100 times, you're one of the strongest people I know, and I always call you my little nugget, because you're a tough little nut, but you just got the biggest heart of gold that I've ever known in anybody. So I'm so happy that you're doing this. I'm so happy that you're helping other people feel connected. And what I'm hoping from, having this interview is that people listen to it and resonate with what you're saying and think, oh, that's like me. That's like me. Oh, if she can do it, I can do it. Maybe I can do it. That's what I want to get from this podcast is people listening to guests and saying, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. But I know a lot approach me and say, yeah, but they're special. And I really hope that by listening to you, people see that, you're just Nicky. You're just a great, gorgeous person, and just that's had some courage and stepping forward. And I'm just Karen. I'm nothing special. When none of us are special. It's just the difference is whether we choose to put our best foot forward or not, and that's, to me, that's the ultimate. Can you put that foot forward and have a shot of courage and because we've all got something amazing to give.
I think that's something that you do every day. And I wanted to ask you one question as well.
Okay.
Karen Vaughan.
Oh, right, Nicky Williams.
I'd like you to tell the listeners about your recent nomination and appearance in the local paper and on the radio. What was that for?
Well, thank you very much for putting me on the spot. Okay, so I have just recently been nominated for the Fred Awards, which is a humanitarian award that by the Fred Hollows Foundation, and Simone Bowers lovingly put me forward, and Simone sees something in me that, you know, even I don't see. And this is, you know, I may be doing what people consider great things, but I don't see this specialness. And it's an absolute honor. It's only a nomination. You know, I still, I don't know, I don't do what I do for awards. So I don't even know really what to say about it. And I'm been surprised by how many people are commenting on social media after you lovingly put it up for me, because I didn't want to toot my own horn. And toot, toot. And what I've found is, and I do need to write a blog about this. It's the next one coming up, is that you don't realize how many people you impact, because there's so many people that have made comments saying about how much I've inspired them and that sort of stuff. And it would never have crossed my mind that person thought that, you know. So anyway, yes, so there's been that, and you know, I just heard myself on TRFM this morning, and I was on ABC Gippsland I don't know, last week, but that was for the kindness program that I've just developed. And by the way, if anyone's listening, it's a kindness program for primary schools, and it's in trial mode at the moment. So if any primary school teachers are listening to this and would like to trial a 5-week kindness program, please get in touch, because I need to get it fine-tuned, because there is so much meanness going on out there, and it's starting in kids, and we have to get on top of that. So yes, and an article in the Gippsland Times and in Gippslandia. So I actually think what's happened is that we had a double rainbow over our house just recently, and I think somehow it brought a whole lot of you know, promotional good fortune. I don't know. I'm going to say the leprechauns are tickling at my heels, and you know, things are going pretty nicely at the moment. And you know, I'm inundated with work. There's so many workshops, team building workshops, and so much is going on at the moment. I think that something certainly shifted at the other end of COVID. But anyway, this is not about me. This is about you. Thank you for the interview. And
maybe I'll have to interview you one day, Karen Vaughan.
Do you know that is not the first time? I have had many people say, when is Nicky going to interview you? And I keep saying exactly what you said. I've got nothing to say. There's nothing special. No one wants to hear about me. So, you know, maybe I need to have grow some balls of courage, and maybe I need to finally agree to let you interview me at some point. So, all right, how about we lock it in?
Let's lock that in.
All right, done. Now, I have my question that I need to ask. I've loved this conversation. Glad we did it. I'm so bloody glad you agreed to do it, because I'm sure you've really touched a lot of people by agreeing to come on and finally pushing through that barrier. Here's my question. Of course, this you know, podcast is about get off the bench and inspire people to take action. So there's going to be tons of people out there who love to write. In fact, I hear it nearly every week. I work with people and hear people say, oh, I'd love to write blogs. I'd love to write a book. I'd love to write this. And I say, do it. And they say, oh, nobody wants to read what I've got to say. Exactly what you say. So I know there are tons of people out there who want to write. What advice would you give them?
Just do it. Just do it. Just start. You don't have to publish it initially. You can just write. Like, I would get up at 5 o'clock every morning and get out my laptop and just start writing. Whatever came out, doesn't matter. A lot of it was just, I don't know, jumble. A lot of it was just random thoughts going through my head, what had happened the day before. Some of it was just like a journal. And the more I got out, the better I felt and the easier it flowed. And that's how I started building blogs from that. And it wasn't until I was, I had enough courage to actually publish one that I realized I could do this. So you don't have to start big, just start small, just start doing it for yourself, and then start crafting, you know, as long as you've got an idea why, you need to know why you want to write, who do you want to reach, then it'll work. Just back yourself and have some courage.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you're saying get up at 5 o'clock every morning. You don't have to be 5 o'clock, it can be 5:30. It can be 15:15. No, I'm only joking. It can be any time.
5:05 even.
Yeah, 5. I think that it's the act of doing something every day. And generally, if you're going to be creative, the morning is the best. And getting up when no one else is up and just starting to do that. And then the words start to flow better, you know, once you get that jumble out, because there's always going to be that brain dump of rubbish, you know, just to get stuff out of the way. And, you know, one thing as well that people get caught up in, and you did, is like, I want to write blogs, but I've got no clue about the technology. I have got no clue where or how do I even do this? How do I make a blog? And, you know, the technical side of it. But if you, and I kept saying to you, I can help you do that. I know how to do that, but I want you to learn it. And I kept pushing you back to the internet, to Google. How do I do a blog? How do I publish a blog? You know, to learn about, you know, hosting sites and that. We ended up, we had it right there. You could have put it on Girls with Hammers straight away, and I knew that, but I wanted you to learn a lot more, and you did. You were like, oh, I could do this and I could do that. Now I know what this means, and now I know what that means, and which is better for you to do that, because even though we didn't go down that track, we just put it all straight on Girls with Hammers, is that it took away that fear. It took away that whole big gap of, I don't know how to do this, therefore I won't do it. You know, as the more you understood it, the more you thought, this is actually quite realistic. You know, I can do it.
Yeah.
And also with writing books, is that people say, oh yeah, but only authors write books, and, you know, and no one's going to publish it. But just start Googling self-publishing, and, you know, look up CreateSpace or Ingram Spark, and just look at their templates, and then just start bloody writing. And before you know it, you know, you can have a book up on Amazon, because it automatically goes to Amazon when you go through Ingram Spark. You type it out, you submit it, and you've got to go by the guidelines. And next thing, it's on Amazon and on all the online bookstores around the world. And it is really nowhere near as easy, as hard as you think. So, you know, I think people should do it. We can't have more. We can always have more written word in the world, and more songs.
All of that, exactly.
No, I love that advice. I love it. And last question, where can people find you? Because I know there are going to be people inspired by this, and even there's going to be a lot of people who already know you, who are going to be dying to listen to this, because they just know you and they wanted to hear the conversation between you and I. Or how do they have a conversation, those two? But there will also be new people listening to this that don't know you, don't know our partnership, you know, met you for the first time, and they won't be seeing you as little Nicky Williams, who, you know, was the bottom of the barrel. They'll be seeing you as somebody like, oh, wow, I really like her. I want to follow her. So let's let people follow you. Where can they find you?
They can find me either at the Girls with Hammers website, girlswithhammers.com.
.au
as well. They can find me on the Girls with Hammers Facebook page, which is just Girls with Hammers. And the links will be, you'll put the links in, won't you?
I'll put the links in the show notes. Yep.
We'll put the links in. Instagram, Girls with Hammers, but it's girls_with_hammers. And I'm also on LinkedIn as Nicky Williams, but I don't post on there a lot. So probably the Girls with Hammers site on both Facebook, Insta, and the website is the place you'll find me the most.
Yeah, and if people want to send you a message, they can send message through any of those places, and
yes,
to you. Yeah. Well, I have absolutely loved this. I am so thankful that you took that step of courage and finally agreed to do this, because I know that what you've shared today will resonate with so many people and will be so helpful. And I'm super proud to have you in my life. I'm super proud of the things that you've done and the courage that you've shown. And I really hope that you've inspired other people to just take action and do the thing they love. I really do. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Debbie. And I'm super proud of you as well.
Yeah, that's
and
not
thank you. Thank you for pushing me.
Right.
I did need a bit of pushing and dragging.
Yeah. There might have been a bit of kicking and screaming, but you did it. So, but anyway, thank you for joining us. And I should let you do some work today. And while I sit at home and put my feet on the desk, and actually not really, but well, I'll talk to you later. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, see ya.
Bye. Bye, everyone.